Hey everyone, welcome back. I would like to share with you a resource that I hope will be helpful for you with your health journey. It's put on by a woman named Jessica Rodriguez. She is a mother of two children who were diagnosed with what she was told were incurable illnesses, but she didn't want to accept that. And she knew there were people all over the world who had conditions that they were told were incurable but were able to get past it. So she took it upon herself to take on this sort of mission to find the experts of the world who were helping people recover from things that doctors had told people were incurable. And she has put together a free online health conference that is kicking off September 7th. Links for this are in the video description, and I am actually a part of it. I am being interviewed for it as well. So there are going to be all sorts of topics covered. Things like why there is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all diet and what you should really be eating to heal. I personally am very curious to hear about this. How childhood trauma can lead to chronic illness and how to heal from these past hurts. Why lab testing is crucial and how, with recovering with chronic illness, what lab tests you should be asking for that traditional medicine won't always offer you. Why stress is literally killing you and what you can do about it. Talking to many survivors of chronic illness, people who have fully come past it, like myself, and sharing what they did to get past this. Talking about gut health and why it might take more than just diet and probiotics to properly heal your gut, plus a whole lot more. So I'm going to share with you a sneak peek into my session from this online summit, and there's also a link in this video description if you want to check it out. Now I know with 22 speakers, chances are you're not going to be able to see them all, but it's free. So click the link, sign up, look at the list of what's there, and see what interests you, and just check out that. And if you are watching this after the September 7th date that this kicks off, I know that for a small fee, you are able to pay and get online access to this. So here is a clip from my session, and I look forward to hearing what you think of the summit once you check it out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Holistic Healing Summit. I have Raelan Agle with me today, and she became passionate about supporting others on their health and happiness journey after fully recovering from chronic fatigue syndrome after living with it for 10 years. She now shares helpful resources for others working to overcome chronic health challenges, including her popular YouTube channel, Skillshare courses, and her book, Finding Freedom, Escaping from the Prison of Chronic Fatigue Syndrome. So considering your history with your mother and then now receiving the same type of diagnosis, what was your initial reaction to actually fighting this thing? Did you think you were going to fight it, or was it a process too?
It's interesting because even though it did feel like such a dire diagnosis and such a hopeless diagnosis, my now ex-husband, but my then husband at the time, him and I had talked about this a lot, and we'd seen my mother kind of give up in recovering, which is understandable because she had been sick for decades. But we'd always talked about if this ever happened to one of us, we would throw everything we had at it. We would get past it or die trying. So even though it was devastating to get this diagnosis, I went all in. I fought it with every ounce of my being, every ounce of energy I had, which wasn't that much. Every dollar we had, all of our savings, we spent tens of thousands of dollars on testing and treatments. And so just really channeled everything I possibly could at I'm gonna do my absolute best. Yeah, to beat this.
Yeah, it sounds like a big undertaking. So what was the biggest challenge in your healing journey?
Oh, that's a good question, because there, of course, are many. But the biggest one, I think, for me, because my illness ended up being, 10 years before, from that first initial flu before I got better. So it was a really quite a long time that I spent living with this every single day. So for me, the biggest challenge was continually finding ways to find hope that I would get past this, because every single day was a challenge. There wasn't ever a single day that was easy. I had good days, and over time I got a bit better. So I had more of a quality of life come back and I could do more things, but it was still very hard. Every day was still very hard. So it was finding ways to keep essentially endure endless degrees of suffering while finding ways to keep believing that my life wouldn't always be this way. And, and I did thankfully find things to help with this. A lot of the things we conventionally think about to help us with these sorts of struggles did help me. Things like therapy, going to counseling was a massive help for me. Things like meditation and journaling and all of that. But one of the biggest things I actually found, and it's a small thing, and it doesn't, I think when you hear it, sound like it's something that should help. But just distraction actually got me through a lot of those hard times. Because when I was in those moments, feeling really low and really hopeless, it often felt like I was going to feel that way forever, when in reality, those feelings would actually pass fairly quickly. If I could even just distract myself through the day, do the best I could to get a good night's sleep, chances are the next day I'd wake up feeling a little bit better about my life. And there's a technique, I learned it later on. I wish I'd had it the whole time, but I found it really helpful, and it's called RASINS, and it's put out by an author named Holly Whitaker, and it's just an acronym, RASINS. And so in those moments when I was feeling really overwhelmed and really hopeless and like, how am I going to keep going, I would just stop and I would just walk through this acronym, and it was just recognize what's happening. Because often in life we just want to push it down and pretend it's not even there. So the first step was just recognizing it, and then A is acknowledge. Say, okay, I am feeling hopeless, or I am feeling overwhelmed. And then the S is story. So throwing out the stories that we have around this that either are not helpful or not true, because often I would tell myself things like, I'm never going to get past this. This is bigger than me. This is too hard. I'm going to feel this way forever. I'm always going to be depressed. And then just challenging those and trying to replace them with more helpful things like, I've been through hard days before. I've gotten through them all. Many people do get past this. I will get past it too. I can do hard things, all that kind of stuff. And then the I is investigate. So, look at internally what's happening. How am I feeling physically? But then also look at my life. Was there something that brought this on? Is there a specific situation or person or circumstance that tends to trigger these types of feeling? And then N is just to name it. So, I have shallow breathing. I'm feeling overwhelmed, because it can be very powerful, I found, just to shine a light on these things and name them. That whole process of acknowledging it, taking a look at what's going on, and then identifying what's happening. And then the final S is just for surf. And it's just to kind of ride out the surf of it, because a lot of these feelings I found didn't last anywhere near as long as I thought they would. So kind of thinking of yourself as a surfer on a wave, and these feelings as the wave, and over time they get smaller and smaller as they get closer to shore and they lose their power. So yeah, it was some big things, that didn't get me through everything, but in those day-to-day moments, I found having tools like this just to catch it in the moment really helped me to get through it.
So again, details in the video description if you want to check this out. Click the link and you can get access to all 22 expert speakers completely for free, and then details on how you can purchase lifetime access to all of these sessions if that's something that you're looking for. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. And as always, whatever you're facing, reminding you to hang in there. You have totally got this. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.